10 games straight out of the All-Star break and a really busy day tomorrow. It'll be the annual run to home base, and as each Friday, we talk about the great work being done by the Red Sox Foundation. Becca Sallwasser, Executive Vice President of Social Impact, Boston Red Sox, and Executive Director of the Foundation, joins me along with Brigadier General Retired Jack Hammond, Executive Director of the Home Base Program. My favorite weekend of the year. It is. I love this event. There's always so much spirit. Let's just talk a little bit about the partnership. First of all, 13th annual Run to Home Base. It has just grown by leaps and bounds. First of all, Becca, you've come into this and learned about it and taken it to another level. Talk about the partnership.
Well, for me, it's personally special. As Jack knows, I come from a family of veterans and actually have an uncle who took his own life who was a veteran. And Jack and I have talked about the personal sort of impact of this program in my life. And so for me, it's been an honor to be a part of the work of Home Base and leverage the Red Sox and the Red Sox Foundation to augment and sort of celebrate and elevate everything that they do. So like you, it's my favorite weekend as well. And as you know, the partnership started in 2009 after the team visited Walter Reed and recognized that we had so much more to do for our nation's heroes and making sure that we could help cure the invisible wounds, these wounds that too often go unseen, unheard, and certainly not as respected as they should be. And so the work of Home Base is critical, I think, at the core of the Red Sox Foundation, certainly for Tom Warner, chairman of our board, founder of the program in partnership with MGH. And honestly, it's a true honor to be able to leverage the park to make sure that we can bring awareness to the great need and service that Home Base is bringing to our veterans.
General, I feel like it's 13 years I've asked you this question. Why is the mission so important? But these last few years coming out of the pandemic, and we're still not all the way out of it, it's more critical than ever before, isn't it?
Well, when you look at the fact that after 20 years of war, we have 1.8 million men and women permanently disabled from various injuries, and a good chunk of them have to do with the invisible wounds of war. Frankly, the government and the VA just haven't got it done. You know, they've had 500% increase in budget, but they're just still operating legacy-type functions. And it really took the private sector, it took guys like Tom Warner to say, look, if we keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, you know, that's the definition of insanity. By driving this program and his vision to create a private sector solution, we've now been able to treat veterans from all 50 states and 13 countries, and over 30,000 veterans have come to Home Base for care at no cost because a grateful nation of supporters have come to the park like they will tomorrow and help throw a few bucks our way to make sure that the men and women get the care they need.
A couple years ago, we had to go virtual. Last year, a little bit of a hybrid. We did in September. You're bringing it back in the heat and humidity. I'll yell at you about that later. But tell us a little about what to expect tomorrow at the ceremony in the morning.
Yeah, so we have close to 2,000 runners. As you know, it's a 5K, 9K walk, run, and very excited, as you said, to bring it back for the first time in normal times, in July here in the park. And so just, to see that, I think the faces of the runners that are going to be here to be able to run across home plate, run around the city, but ultimately culminate here at Fenway Park is just amazing.
There'll be people from 40 states coming in tomorrow, which is just remarkable. And so many of them come here, it's like their 10th or 13th year, depending on where they came in.
What blows me away each year is so many of them, like you're saying, Becca, are people with personal connections to this. They've lost family members. They themselves have been treated. They themselves have fought through some of the invisible wounds of war. You can feel. I mean, the power is palpable here at Fenway tomorrow morning. And
that's the connection, and that's what's beautiful about coming here. You know, for a lot of folks, it was stepping foot on home base. You know, as a Bostonian and a lifelong fan, me as well. But beyond that, it's that emotional attachment to the stories and the people that we care for, the families that are running, the surviving families that are running, and we're all in this together. And that show of support and love for these families that sacrifice literally everything is remarkable.
Becca, I know that you've gone out of the way with the foundation to make sure that you're amplifying the voices of black veterans, their commitments, their impact. Why is that so important?
Yeah, so similarly, we've done in years past, we've recognized certain cohorts of veterans. We've done Vietnam vets before, and this year, as you mentioned, we're really excited to honor black veterans. I personally will have a few family members on the field tomorrow night, and again, I think it's just so important to make sure that we're recognizing contributions of all of our veterans, but specifically veterans that come from sort of vulnerable populations that sometimes are overlooked. And I think tomorrow you're going to see a lot of pride, a lot of tears, and just, overdue recognition, I think, for this cohort of individuals that have sacrificed so much for our country in so many ways.
The money raised goes directly to saving lives. I mean, it does. It's as simple as that. How can people help? Maybe they can't get here tomorrow, maybe not running. How can they help out?
We try and keep it simple. Homebase.org. If you just remember homebase.org, you come to our website, you'll learn. We care for the most injured veterans every day. We have cohort groups that fly in from across the country. We have the largest number of special operations guys. We have 12 dedicated cohort groups of 12 that come here just for that intensive clinical treatment program, and it's life-changing for them. And so the funds we raise, you call, you make that donation, you're helping to save a life.
And you've been able to take this and reach out, right? You've been able to grow this to other parts of the country. Not everybody can get here to you.
We've now built programs down in Southwest Florida that cover almost 5 counties, Tampa. We're working in Arizona. We're working with Navajo Nation, Hopi, and Apache nations. And just last week, we began discussions with the state of Montana. And all that's to help build local capability to take care of their folks, but with our assistance.
And I always ask you this. We got about 30 seconds left. It's one of the pillar causes and efforts behind the Red Sox Foundation, but it doesn't happen without Red Sox fans. Without Red Sox Nation supporting, none of this happens.
Absolutely, and we're so grateful for all the support of Red Sox Nation. In fact, Red Sox Nation, if you're in the park tomorrow, make sure you buy a 50-50 raffle ticket from one of our sellers, because we are sharing the proceeds with Home Base, of course. We want to make sure we can amplify again and help raise as many funds as we can. You can go to redsox.com/5050 if you're at home and unable to come into Fenway Park. But again, we're going to be sharing those proceeds. It's a guaranteed pot of at least $20,000.
Wow. Fantastic. Looking forward to it. We'll talk. One of these days, you got to have it at noon. I'd like to sleep in a little bit after one of these games, but it's worth it. It is an unbelievable event. And even if you, listen, just get over here tomorrow. If you're in the area, come by.
Absolutely.
It'll change you. A year later, you'll run. That's how it works. I came the first year. I ran the second year. We've been running ever since. Great to see you both. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you in the morning.
Thanks, TC.